Namaste to all my viewers. This is Yedidai Amun. I want to touch on the importance of melanin in the human skin. So, me, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys grew up thinking or hearing that being black is bad, being too black is bad, being light skinned or being white is more, you know what I'm saying, powerful or more attractive, because that's obviously what we see on our commercials, on our TV, everywhere we go, on posters, you know what I'm saying? We see these Caucasian images, we see these more lighter images, being more successful in life, and most likely in comedy, people talk down on, oh, you're black, blah, blah, ASS, you know what I'm saying? That's straight buffoonery, that's foolishness. And if you have knowledge of self, scientifically, you will know that the more melanin in a human body is the better, the more in tune you are with nature. Our sun is the primary life giver on this planet, and our melanin, through a process called ultra fast eternal conversion, it allows our skin, our melanin, to absorb that sunlight, those harmful UV rays that can be harmful for some people, and turn it into harmless heat in the human body. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically, melanin gives us the ability to live our everyday life with the sun or with nature, because sun is the part of nature and it's a primary life giver to this planet. Our sun gives us so much nutrients, and our melanin allows us to adapt with this powerful force, the sun, and adapt us to live in peaceful mutuality with the sun and with nature. So that's one thing that melanin can do for you. And I took a couple notes here stating the difference between the black, more melanated man and the Caucasian man, which has less melanin. It is said that all humans possess melanin, but not to the degree that African people all over the world do. Black people have around 360 centers, melanin centers, in their stomach region, as opposed to Caucasians, which only have 40. The African black human, which has primarily 12 melanin centers in their brain, while the non-African brain only have 2 melanin centers. The key to effectiveness of melanin is the fact that it is primarily carbon-based and is the most effective in handling heat and ray of the sun, primary life giver of the planet, which I talked about earlier. The ancestors of not only the world but primarily black people had highly developed body parts and organs, especially a part of the human body called the pineal gland. This is where it gets important, because the pineal gland is where our melanin processes. This part of the body, along with the pituitary gland, allows individuals to sense things and visualize things in their environment that cannot be sensed through the ordinary 5 senses, and which do not work nearly as much as it did in the past because of a dumbed down society. I mean, things like fluoride in our water, the poisons in our food. Our organs of the human body, it can't work as strong as it usually does. And they know that. That's why they poison us. That's why they spray us with chemtrails. So we can't, you know what I'm saying, be as strong as we can. So even physically, not even spiritually, physically, we're not as strong as we can because of all the poisons that we take in our body. So it's important for you to stay healthy and pick your poisons. Another note I took: melanin means black amino and is a color pigment composed of hydrocarbon chain which has various amino, nitrogen-based compounds attached to it. It is carbon that gives melanin its blackness. Carbon is the organizing molecule that gives melanin its structure. It is carbon that gives melanin the ability to absorb energy and bend with other molecules while retaining stability. So basically, these notes that I took is basically pointing key things of how important it is to have melanin, or to even process melanin. Because as I was telling you, as a black male, I don't care if you're light skinned or whatever, you can be out in the sun and your melanin, just having the amount of melanin you have, it will allow a production in melanin just by being out in the sun, working out in the sun, playing out in the sun, having sun out in the sun, it would give a production called melanogenesis, a production of melanin which will make you darker and which will make you stronger. You know what I'm saying? It will make you more in tune with the universe. Our melanin is processed in our pineal gland, and through our pineal gland, it's a pineal gland organ is a very powerful organ which allows us to do supernatural things. As some of them were stated in the notes, but also this is what allows us to be more like telepathic. You know what I'm saying? And you can work on that through meditation and other things like that, yoga, just getting your body back in tune with nature. But I really want young black males and young black females to know how they're important. And you having melanin is just putting you on a whole different level than some of these other people who don't have as much as melanin. It puts you more in tune with nature. It's more power. And we are the original people of this planet. You know what I'm saying? We are the originators. Most of these races, they came from us. We father these races. Most of these races, they still pray to our ancestors. They walk around knowing who we are, and we don't know who we are. We have to put this idiotic stuff behind us. We watch TV. We think it's cool to be light-skinned. Girls try to straighten their hair. This is beautiful. This hair right here is beautiful. Our skin is beautiful. It's powerful.
In this video, I'll be discussing the various interpretations of the third eye and its connection to our so-called reality and dream worlds. Let's start with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a small organ shaped like a pine cone, hence its name, which I'll get into later. It was also the last endocrine gland to have its function discovered. Its location, found deep within the brain, implies its significance. This led to it being considered a mystery gland, with all kinds of superstition, myth, and even metaphysical theories surrounding its supposed function. It's often associated with the sixth chakra, or third eye, called ajna in yoga. It is believed to be the dormant organ which can be awakened to unlock our hidden telepathic abilities and our inner vision. In the physical body, did you know that the eye views objects upside down? Then it sends those images it observes to the brain, which interprets them and makes it appear to us as right side up. According to René Descartes, who considered the pineal gland the seat of the soul, said it was our link to the one non-material part of the universe, the mind. This is one reason why I never try and refer directly to the terms right, wrong, good, or bad, because I find them to be such vague extremes that don't actually exist except on paper in people's minds. Generally, those terms are left up to each individual's imagination to determine which is which, until they're pulling rabbits out of their own hat and eventually pulling people down with them. I do think that the terms positive and negative are ideas we can relate to because it is what lines the very fabric of our universe and essence of our being. Life and death, light and dark, hot and cold, ad infinitum. Since everything essentially came from the same singularity in space, it means you and all that surrounds you are an amalgamated, randomized, ever-changing interpretation of itself, perceptually aware of the countless randomized branches extending outward at any given moment, which when you think deeply about it, is actually a glance into the many faces of your true self. Some of those faces are easier to relate to than others. Some are frightening and hard to accept. Others are exciting. However, all of them are inescapably a part of you as the self-aware universe. I always like to equate it to walking through a hall of mirrors of the mind, introspectively looking into the different aspects of the conscious self in the grand sense of the word. Unequivocally, what you or I individually think from the finite constructs of the ego is a temporary charade, a masquerade ball we all buy into for a short time to give us purpose. On the other hand, if one peels their perspective back enough, past myself, yourself, himself, herself, their selves, ourselves, one would see that it is just a game we play with our collective higher mind. When we step back into the discourse of the duality, however, we collectively demonize and burn people at the stake to continue forward with confidence in a given random direction, as we perpetually find ourselves caught in the eternal dance between a 1 and a 0.
The interior of the pineal gland, all along the inside, has rods and cones just like the retina on your eye. Do you think that maybe when they called it a third eye, that they knew what they were talking about? Do you think that an eye must have a cornea and a lens and all this vitreous fluid in it like we have? The fluid is there, but you just got the retina. So there's something that appears to be happening inside. It's like there's a little television in here, and you can actually get audio out of it, and you can get video out of it, and that video feed is being picked up by the rods and cones, and that's your imagination. That's the mind's eye. You actually have a retina. Have you noticed that when you visualize something strongly enough that you really do see it? You can close your eyes, but you're still seeing things. This is where it's coming from.
If you visualize something strong enough from your third eye, it becomes a reality. This is Me, the kanji, for your third eye. Let's look at its construction. You see the wall-shaped crown, the sun, and the lid which opens up at the bottom. To help you understand it more visually, if you open up the lid to your crowned sun, I'll say it again, if you open up the lid to your crowned sun, that is your third eye. This leads me to the next connection in that kanji character. If you look at the open lid, it's actually a number 6. Look at the left-hand side. There are 6 emotions, 6 senses, 6 directions, 6 classes of characters, and the universe also has a number 6 in it. And if you close the lid at the bottom of the left-hand side, you'll see it's closed. That's deceased, or the late, or dying. As you can see, there's a lot more to kanji than meets the eye, pardon the pun. Allow me to continue. If you put a regular eye next to your third eye on the left-hand side here, and then you think about it with imagination on the right-hand side here, you are in meditation. Nearly every ancient culture knew of the hidden powers of the pineal gland and what it does to connect us to this reality. If you still have a hard time grasping this, just look at the shape of the pineal gland versus the shape of the pine cone, the lotus flower, our universe, and how it folds in on itself. Again, this pine cone connection can be found in nearly every culture, as we see here at the top left, the Pope carrying a pine cone-like staff. In the upper right, Bacchus, a Greek god, carrying a pine cone staff as well. In the lower left, Buddha's head being shaped like a pine cone as he's reaching enlightenment. In the center, the statue found at the Vatican is a pine cone, taller than 2 or 3 people, one of the biggest found at the Vatican. This connection is unmistakable. The pharaohs, the Mayans, and nearly all the ancient cultures knew this connection of the pineal. Look at the lower right. You see the staff of Osiris carrying the pineal as well.
The physical body of the pharaoh was rendered timeless, perhaps turned into an open gate, or perhaps a type of anchor. It was heavily supplied with all manner of spells, amulets, talismans, and other forms of magical protection. The strange practice of mummification still holds many mysteries. Why were some organs carefully preserved while the brain was scooped out and discarded? An unexpected insight into this question can be found in the work of Dr. Rick Strassman. His pioneering work has raised some very important questions about the pineal gland and its interaction with a strange hallucinogenic chemical known as DMT.
Interestingly enough, Rick Strassman found this connection to Buddhism through DMT, and that being one of 49 days. You see, in Buddhism, 49 days after death is called bardo, and the soul hangs around for 49 days waiting for a new body. And in Rick Strassman's study, the 49-day connection was found with the fetus, and 49 days after conception, the presence of the pineal gland and DMT is found. This just further proves that the mystics, monks, and gurus knew what they were talking about when they thought about the third eye as the seat of the soul. Which really makes you think those people we consider mental patients or crazy Are they actually crazy, or are they seeing into higher realms of reality that we are not able to see under normal states of consciousness by unlocking this chemical DMT? Rick Strassman found in these studies that people were reaching the same results, seeing the same things, and going to the same altered states of consciousness, all from different walks of life. Don't you think, if you haven't already, it's time to start trying to unlock your third eye so we can finally start to turn this ship around?